that you have been required to acquire the skill to speak another language. And every day you are expected to perform your ability to effectively and fluently speak this language. Lest you be judged unintelligent, incompetent, unprofessional, and barred from the benefits of this society. This literal language barrier is what many African Americans endure every day through the speaking and use of our language and dialect known as AAVE. Today, I would like to call attention to what AAVE is and why it's culturally sacred, the phenomenon of code switching as a prerequisite to gain academic and career access, and why it is crucial to destigmatize the use of AAVE. To begin, the acronym AAVE stands for African American Vernacular English. It differs from standard in American English. It has its own syntaxes, tones, flows, etc., etc. Geneva Smitherman in One Mo Once says that it was created from the enslavement of people from across the African diaspora brought to the United States of America. So this is important to note that when African Americans or Africans at the time were being enslaved, they were not being kept with their appropriate countries, villages, languages, etc., etc. They were mixed and mingled together once they got to the U.S. So it was foundational to develop this language, this dialect, in order to communicate and to build community with the other slaves they were now around. So, due to these historical contexts, it is culturally sacred to the culture of African American people. It is the first piece of our culture that we had to develop in the Americas. However, due to white superiority standards, it has been deemed unprofessional and unintelligent and used as a tool of systemic oppression. Due to the stigma affiliated with speaking AAVE, African Americans began the phenomenon known as code switching. In Code Switching 101 by Lonnie Crum and other authors, it is described as minorities altering the way they present themselves to gain acceptance by majority groups. This is acceptance into professional, academic settings, and also essential for, once again, upward mobility. So this is the way we change in the way that we dress, the way that we talk, the way that we walk. Essentially, it means we alter the way that we are to become more professionally palatable to meet these white superiority standards. Now, we do have the freedom to not code switch. It's not against the law to use your native tongue. However, not code switching allows generalizations and judgments that systemically prevent upward mobility. For example, if I were to go into an interview and they asked me about my weekend availability, if I were to say, I ain't working on the weekends, instead of, I don't have any availability to work on weekends, I probably wouldn't get that job. So this is why it's important to destigmatize AAVE, because it's essential for economic and academic equity. As I just noted, a job interview example is a prime example of barring from economic mobility. But then we have situations such as the banking realm. If you go into a bank and you present yourself as a Black person speaking AAVE, there are many barriers that you're going to encounter. I guarantee if you do not walk in and present yourself up to the white superiority standards, you could be denied mortgages. You could be denied credit cards. As well as academia. We all know that when we're typing a Word doc, we cannot use AAVE. It is going to be highlighted as a grammatical error. And if you submit that essay to a university with those grammatical errors, I guarantee you will not be accepted. So AAVE must be destigmatized and accepted as an official and legitimate dialect and language. This is not only to honor and respect the history and culture behind the people who created it, but also to remove white superiority standards overall in society for all non-native standard American English speakers. By destigmatizing it, we could promote and create economic and academic equity to African Americans and all other non-native standard American English speakers by removing these barriers that prevent access to these spaces simply because we cannot speak the native language. Thank you.